Hey guys, what's going on? Sorry that my eyes are like so red. I don't know. I'm all teary-eyed right now. I just think it's because I woke up. Maybe it's just like allergies or something. Anyway, a couple big things. First off, one of the individuals that were supposed to be teaching today didn't show up. So they called me and they said, "Hey Mario, can you teach from 8 to 8?" Actually, it's like 8:30 right now. And they're like, "Hey Mario, someone didn't show up. Can you show up for right now or as soon as possible till the rest of the day?" And I was like, I love the idea of the challenge. Let's go ahead and do it. I was supposed to meet with a student from 9 a.m. till 12 a.m. to tutor him because he's having an issue with like the EMT basic test, which I've helped a lot of students in the past figure out how to pass the test. It's not a big deal, but I did meet with that person yesterday, and we talked about it, and we decided, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and meet up on the not today, but tomorrow, and that should work. So he was okay with it. We were supposed to originally be tutoring him for 3 days, but he learned so much on the first day. He's like, we were talking about it. We were just going to meet up for 2 days anyway. So giving him that extra day will give him some extra time to review what we talked about, as well as like going over practice questions. Then we'll go over the answers together. It'll be really effective. I'm glad that he's willing to do that. He was also, one really cool thing about the place that I'm teaching at right now at Texas EMS Academy is if you are a former student, they allow you to come back, sit down in the class, get free tutoring. It doesn't matter. They really just want you to pass. So I find it really respectable. But yeah, so I have to be there from as soon as I get there till 8 p.m. today. Now that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop for an energy drink. That is going to be pretty much mandatory now. I don't know what it's going to be like. Yeah, I've taught classes from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. and they're pretty brutal. But I know for Texas EMS Academy, I'm going to go over a lot of chapters today, so it's going to be pretty tough. But I'm excited. I enjoy the challenge. Anyway, the news story. The news story was a lot of fun. I probably have already done it by now, but I'm going to do a behind the scenes where I go over basically everything that we did to set up for that interview, because I ended up swapping it around and interviewing the interviewer. So I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to find the time to sit down and like do like an intro, but I didn't bring my good mic. I do have a mic here, which is good. My car is always going to be messy. But I'm trying to wait to set up for an intro, but I might just say, you know what, forget the intro. We're just going to go ahead and start it. I'm a little torn between the two, but I think either one will be fine. Anything else? Anything else? I want to make a video going over the National Registry test for EMTs, just because I feel like I have a really good understanding of what you need to know and what you probably don't know before you take the test. A lot of times students overestimate their knowledge, and they go into these complex subjects, right? Even though it's their first time learning about them in EMT basic. And they really need to step back and be like, do I really know anything? I was shotgunned with so much information during the past like 3 months that I might have not picked up the basics. So I start with the foundation, right? I start with vital signs, and I say, do you know your basic vital signs? And they look at me and they're like, yeah, I know my basic vital signs. You think I just walked into the test knowing nothing? Which, I mean, it's completely normal if you don't know. And so then I'm like, okay, you know your basic vital signs? What's your normal range for blood pressure? And they'll say, well, you know. And I'll be like, okay, tell me it. Without looking at your book, without anything, tell me what your blood pressure ranges are supposed to be like. They'll be like, it's supposed to be like right at like 120/80. Okay, when is it high? When is it low? Well, like 128, that's when it's starting to get a little high. 130, 105 is whenever it starts to get too, I don't know, just like, no. That's okay that you think that. And I understand why. However, the actual range is between 100 to 139 beats for your systolic blood pressure. And I'm like, okay, what about your diastolic, your bottom number? Well, if it goes from like 88, I guess, or like 90 to like 80 or like something like that, right? And I'll be like, no. In some texts it says less than 90 for diastolic. However, the way I teach it is less than 100 units or millimeters per mercury for your diastolic blood pressure. So 100 to 139 for the top number, and then less than 100 for your bottom number. And then they're like, oh, okay, now I get it. That's great, right? You would think that they would get it after being explained the ranges and giving them the ranges. But then you need to test a student like this. You need to say, okay, you have a patient with a blood pressure of 138/94. And then I'm going to say, is that blood pressure good or bad? And then they'll look at me, and this happens almost every time universally. They'll say, the blood pressure, it's okay. I'm like, okay, give me the answer. Is it a good blood pressure or a bad blood pressure? And they'll be like, it's bad. And I'll be like, why? Well, it's high. And I'm like, look at your ranges. Is it high? Well, and they're right to think that because they're utilizing common sense, right? They're saying, hey, this patient is slowly close to becoming hypertensive, but I've given them no information about the patient's age, the gender, what might be going on, anything, just the blood pressure. And I'm like, no, you need to use your ranges so you can get an actual answer to these kind of questions. I'll be right back. Okay, anyway, I'm back. I got my energy drink, so I'm super happy, even though it is poison. And the biggest thing that I wanted to stress is limit testing vital signs, right? I want you to know the ranges for blood pressure, for heart rate, for like SpO2, for respiratory rate, for temperature, for blood sugar. And then I want to make sure that you know it. And so I play kind of like devil's advocate, right? Where I will have let's say a patient whose SpO2 is at 94%. And now the new ranges is generally 94 to 100%. And that's what I teach is the normal range for somebody's SpO2. And then I'll ask the student, and I'll say, hey, this patient's SpO2 is at 94%. And then I'll give them another patient, and I'll be like, hey, this patient's SpO2 is at 100%. Which one is better? And then they'll look at me, and then they'll say, the SpO2 at 100%. And if you actually check somebody's SpO2, it'll range from like, really realistically, for me, it's more so like 95, 98%. It ranges right around there. And then I'll be like, why is the 100% better than the 94%? And then they'll be like, oh, well, the 94% is low, and the 100% is the maximum, so it's really good. And I'll say, well, what do you think about the 94%? And they'll be like, it's kind of bad, in all honesty. I still think it's bad, even though we talked about it. And I would probably put them on a nasal cannula at 4 liters per minute. And I'm like, no. Wrong. They're both in the normal range. All you know is the normal range for SpO2. I understand that you're utilizing common sense, but you are not going to put oxygen on somebody who's still within the normal range, except for special exceptions, right? And at the same time, because then you can maybe consider, like, let's look at the respiratory rate though. But if that's all the information that's given, stop doing that. You need to understand that they're both in the normal range, and that's all the information you have. If I only give you the option of saying a vital sign's good or bad, then for both of those vital signs, you would say good and nothing else. It's kind of more so what I try to stress with students, because whenever they're taking the national, they're going to get blitzed with a whole bunch of different vital signs, right? And they need to be able to quickly deduce, is the vital signs good or bad, and they need to do it confidently. And the only way to do it confidently is to have clear absolute values that they can go off of, right? Where they can say, this doesn't fall in the normal range, this is abnormal, so it's bad. It's either high or low, but either way, we don't want this for an adult male patient, right? And then pediatrics is a whole different topic. But again, I just think it's really interesting. I am pulling up to the facility at this time, so I will talk to you guys afterwards. If I'm exhausted, kind of greasy, because I've just been sweating nonstop while teaching, I apologize for that. It's part of the process. But see ya. Hey everybody, so I just finished teaching. I'm not even that greasy, honestly. Or at least I don't think so. Maybe you guys think differently. It's a little dark, so there are some different lights being shown off. I got to teach an 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. course. It was cut off slightly just because of some issues with someone else, and I ended up covering for them. I got there around 8:45, and I was able to complete the rest of the course. It was very fun. First, it started a little slow. I had to kind of get to know people. I'm kind of the villain because we're going through all this lecture material, and it's honestly, a lot of it can be pretty boring at times, but I was trying to make it fun. And at the end, I felt like I really clicked and engaged with the class. I had a blast. You know, it's just, I understand how teachers can be frustrated teaching like younger children, but teaching adults or like 17, 18-year-olds up, especially when they pay to go to the class and stuff, it's fun. It is a blast. I can't believe how much fun I had. You know, the whole time my voice didn't even get too dry. I don't know if that's just that's coming over time, or if I just got a lucky break. Maybe I was properly hydrated. I didn't drink any coffee because I know it dehydrates myself. I hope I don't turn really dark here. I'm thinking I'm gonna turn too dark to record. Should I stop and just record a little bit of what happened? I should, right? It's only gonna take like 3-5 minutes anyway. Let's pull into the parking lot. We can talk more about it. I loved the group of students I had. They were super nice. They had all these questions. Unfortunately, super embarrassing. I was trying to assist them, and I was like, hey, while we're talking about patient assessment, one thing that you should know is that crepitus is the bubbling sensation that you feel on the skin. That's not true. That's called subcutaneous emphysema. Dang it. It makes me so mad. Sorry about that. Anyway, I'm parked, by the way, so my hands are off because I'm parked. Just letting you know, I'm going to be parked for the rest of this. I told them that it was crepitus. It's subcutaneous emphysema, so they missed that question on the quiz. And what the worst part was, the first guy who did the quiz, he went up to me, he was like, hey, really nice individual. He's like, just letting you know, this was literally what you talked about, and you said it was crepitus, and it's actually subcutaneous emphysema. Crepitus apparently is more so associated with the joints, and if there's a bubbling air sensation in the joints. It's on me. Hey, my bad. I should do this, right? My bad. I felt so bad because he told me the answer after doing the quiz, and I was like, I can't just go to each student and tell them, hey, you guys don't fail or don't miss this question like the other half of the students did. It ended up not being a big deal. A lot of people, that was the only question they missed, but it was my fault. So I apologize. Feel really bad for it. But I don't know the quizzes. I can only try to prepare them to the best of my ability. I've always known this as crepitus, but subcutaneous emphysema, I'll note that for future classes. I hate messing up. But I try to improve and learn from it instead of dwelling too much on it. I'll dwell and learn from it. Besides that, I just had a blast today. Honestly, it's just a fun day. Fun group of students. I'm so glad that they called me in to help teach. And I'm currently working with a student. I'm going to meet him tomorrow from 9 to 12. And we're going to go over like some tutoring stuff because he's having trouble with the EMT-B. I met with him yesterday also. So we're going to meet with him tomorrow. And I know we're just going to kill it. Or we're just going to do great on it. So, I don't know. I just had so much fun. I can still talk for hours, but I need to call my loved one She's made dinner at home because she's a little sweetheart, and I'm very hungry, and so I need to suck up to her because I was prompt. It was pretty quick that they asked me to teach for 8 hours, or 12 hours really, with an hour of lunch break. Really 11 because I showed up at 8:45. Blah, 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 blah. So I need to be on my best behavior. But she's sweet. I asked her first, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. You can go teach." And I was like, "Hey, thank you, my lovely lady." Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like the video, please like it, comment, and subscribe. I read all the comments. I sometimes don't comment that quickly, but you can also join the Discord. Oh, join the Discord. Oh, we love having you. All right. Goodbye. See ya.